Joining me now, State Senator Clarke Tucker, Democrat of Little Rock. Always good to catch up with him. Senator, thank you for making time.
Roby, thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the most important political topic of the week, and that would be that Hoops for Kids' Sake is coming back up next week at your alma mater at Central High School. And the Senate kind of owns the House at this point in time. Tell me, I need to hear a little bit of a reason why you're going to make it six in a row.
Well, it's a bit of a heavy burden that we're carrying because we're defending our back-to-back titles at this point. So, but I think we're up for the challenge.
And this is a new format this year. It's not necessarily 5-on-5 with ringers on each side. It's going to be a
That's
three on
so
three
we
format with I think the governor's office and is the AG's office playing as well.
so we have four teams this year for the first time. It's always just been the House and the Senate. And yes, the Attorney General's office and the governor's office are both going to have a team. It's always been 5-on-5 full court. But I think there's really two reasons for the shift. One is that last year, two House members actually tore their Achilles tendons during the course of the game. And I know there was another significant, it was a torn labrum in the shoulder. So at this point, the House, they just can't handle the physical rigor of running up and down the court. And the other issue, of course, is that since the Senate has won 5 times in a row, we have to change something just to give the House, really a fair shot at it.
Gosh. And the money goes for a good cause. It goes to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Arkansas and
So it's
Big
different.
Sisters of
So
Sonoma.
it's the Child Advocacy Centers of Central Arkansas is one, and then Big Brothers Big Sisters is the other. So yeah, we have two great causes, and yes, in all seriousness, we've had this 13 times now, or since 2013, excuse me. We've raised almost $250,000 in total over the course of the life of the game. It's going to be on Monday, April 22nd at 6 p.m. It's $10 at the door, and as you said, Robbie, it's at Little Rock Central High School. So it'd be great for people to come out. You could make fun of the legislators and whoever else is out on the court making fools of themselves and give money to a good cause all at the same time.
Well, we make fun of legislators whether you're on a basketball court or not,
Fair
senators.
enough.
All right,
Fair enough.
let's talk about other happenings at the Capitol this week. Probably the other big news up there this week was we did finally get the audit of the governor's lectern purchase. There was a legislative hearing the following day so that auditors could answer questions as well as the governor's staff and the attorney general staff. Did you get all of the answers that you were looking for?
I would say no, and primarily because, and I think this is very unfortunate, but legislative audit, they put out requests to the three vendors for the lectern, and those vendors never responded. Just stonewalled Arkansas legislative audit. Legislative audit asked the governor's office to reach out to these folks to respond. The governor's office did, and they still never responded. So there are still some questions. What was the reason? Why the actual lectern itself was about $11,500? What were the specifications that were requested by the governor's office? What was delivered? There was a $2,500 consulting fee as part of that. There's no explanation for what that was. But really, the only group that can answer those questions were the vendors that provided the purchase and the sale, and they're nowhere to be found.
It's gone to the prosecuting attorney's office. He'll have to determine whether any laws were violated. Is there anything else that will happen from a legislator perspective?
I don't think so. I think the next thing would be in the general session next year. There is some ambiguity or some arguments on both sides that we heard in the hearing the other day as to whether constitutional officers are subject to our standard procurement laws in Arkansas that other state agencies are subject to. And whatever side of the debate that you're on, I think it would be a good idea for the legislature to pass some legislation just to provide some clarity.
All right, you guys have been taking up budget bills this past week and a half here. I can't say that it's been riveting or a big debate on too much of anything. A lot of that stuff gets worked out in pre-session hearings. You're welcome to speak to that. Are you guys just expecting smooth sailing on this whole budget process?
Knock on wood. I think so. I think for as far as the budget bills go, which of course is the primary purpose of the fiscal session, I'm expecting pretty smooth sailing. But those are famous last words in the Arkansas legislative process, as you know, Roby. But so far so good.
All right, you guys have taken up a lot of activity with crypto mining. This has become a noise nuisance. There are some concerns about potential foreign land ownership that we've seen in some other areas of the legislature. What do you think is going to be the resolution out of this fiscal session where you guys are somewhat limited on what you can do?
Well, we've broken precedent already by introducing non-fiscal bills during a fiscal session. We had to pass a resolution in both the House and the Senate to make that happen. It's the only procedure to enable that to happen. That's been done on two bills, one sponsored by Senator Josh Bryant, one sponsored by Senator Missy Irvin. And I believe both of those bills will pass. They have passed out of Senate committee at this point, and I think they both will. Senator Bryant's bill really kind of walks back a bit what we passed last year and provides a little more local control for the issue. And then Senator Irvin's bill, just like virtually every industry in Arkansas, there's no state regulatory system at all for crypto mining right now because it's such a brand new industry. And that's what Senator Irvin's bill does is it kind of sets up that state regulatory environment for this new industry.
And who would over who what would be the regulatory agency? Do you recall?
I don't I think I would want to look to be certain, but I think it's they're creating a new one just for this.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right.
Like a commission to oversee it.
All right, lastly, we have all been praying for the family of Senator David Pryor, who has passed away. I just want to give you a chance to offer your thoughts of what you think David Pryor means to the people of Arkansas, to the Democratic Party of Arkansas, and to you personally as an up and coming legislator who has followed in his footsteps to some degree.
They just don't make people like David Pryor, Roby. And he is revered universally in Arkansas politics. Obviously, we've changed over from a partisan standpoint since the time he was elected, but it doesn't matter. I work with a lot of Republicans, and I can tell you, David Pryor is revered because they just don't make people as good as David Pryor. He's the most humble public servant in my lifetime in Arkansas, and I don't think any politician would argue with that. And he always put the people of Arkansas first. That's what he had on his desk. Arkansas comes first, above his own personal ambitions and or what interests or whatever the case may be. And he did so much good for the people of this state and changed so many lives. And on a personal level, he took me under his wing when I was a teenager, and there was no reason for him to do that. I was just a random teenage kid in Arkansas, and there's no telling how many young people he did that for. But he took me under his wing and mentored me, and that was 25 years ago. And he and Barbara both have been mentoring me ever since. They mean a great deal to me personally, and I know that's the case for countless people in the state. And it's because of how much he accomplished, but I think more than anything, just what a fundamentally good person that he is.
I appreciate you sharing those thoughts. I know that's a tough subject to deal with. We're all struggling with that. And thankfully, everybody has a David Pryor story, and we will hear many of them in the coming weeks. And I look forward to every single one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Senator Clarke Tucker, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you, and good luck on that basketball game on Monday night.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you, Roby.